Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Samson Abasiono Etim, and in today's class I'm going to be showing you how I grade on Capture One, edit on Photoshop, and export. So today we'll be starting with Capture One. Welcome back guys, and we're going to start by cropping out our image. I've already imported my image into Capture One. If you're new in Capture One and you want to import your image in Capture One, it's very easy. There's an import icon over here where you can just click and you can drag your image and import your image into Capture One. I'm going to do another class on how to import and export on Capture One, but just stay tuned. You're going to learn a lot, right? So I'm going to start by cropping out my image by clicking on this icon 4x5, and I'm going to crop it this way. Yeah, I think this is fine. Awesome. So I like this. So let's start with our grading. So the first thing I want to do is go to our style icon over here and change. I'm using an icon D610, right? That is why I'm showing icon D610 generic, but I want to change my base characteristics and my profile to this. You can see it changes the look of our image. If I should hold Alt on my keyboard and Alt or Option my keyboard and I do this, you can see this is where we are before and after, before and after. So the next thing I want to do is color my image. So go to the color and click on the skin tone. Click on this icon right here and just touch on the skin. Right, so we have this. We have this, right? I'm going to just make this, just increase this a bit, increase our saturation to, let's say, I think 6 is okay. So it doesn't have to be exactly what I'm doing. You just have to grade your image to what suits you best. Yeah, this is good. Then I'm going to come down to my midtones and my color balance. Bring my midtones down. I think so around here. Yeah, already you can see we have that shining look already on the skin. I'm going to leave my highlight the way it is and go to my shadows. I'm going to move this icon down to our tint and just bring this up a bit. Just a bit. Alright, I think this is good. Now go to our adjustments is where we can add our brightness, our our saturation, highlight, and all. So I actually don't like my image being too bright, right? So I'll just add 2% contrast. 2% contrast. Increase our brightness to, I think 6 is okay. Let's reduce the saturation by 3, and our highlight, let's just bring it down to, I think 60 is okay. Yeah, I think this is good. Let's bring up our shadows a bit. Yes, to add little brightness to it. And for our blacks, I think I'll do -13. Right, so our levels, I like leaving my levels as RBG and just make this 2. Yeah, you can see the effect immediately. I made adjustments to that. You can see, let's do our before and after. You can see before, after, before, after. It darkened the black like her hair and her dress a bit. I'm going to add my luma, just a third, creating a very slight S to make the color pop more. So before, after, before and after. Alright, next thing I want to do is just add clarity. Let's say 3. 3 is okay. Don't like it to be too much. Then we can increase our DS to 25. So before and after, before and after. So already you can see that we have that glowy, that shiny effect. If I should click on this, our icon here, our before and after icon, you can see what we have, where we came from. This is our before and our after, our before and our after. Now I want to take it down to Photoshop to do a full editing. So I'm going to right click on my keyboard and edit on Photoshop. So I'm using Photoshop 2024, right? But Capture One works with any version of Photoshop, 2020, 2021, 2022, and moving downwards. And our Photoshop is coming up. Alright, so we are here in Photoshop and let's start editing. So like I mentioned in the last class, I like duplicating my layers so I can still save my original image in case I make any error somewhere. I can easily go there to correct them. So I'm going to touch the hair a bit, but not like I did in the first one. So I'm going to name this hairs. I like naming my layers also, right? So I'm going to come down to filter, liquify, and let's increase this to, let's say 25, 23 is okay. And let's do this. So you're basically just cleaning up the hair bits, making it, I think 23 is too much. Go back to 20. So let's just do this. All right. So you need to be very careful. You can bring down the size of your brush by pressing the bracket key on your keyboard so it doesn't affect your layer. Let's do this. Okay. Alright, I think this is okay. And let's see what we have before and after. I think this is good. So press OK on our keyboard. And next thing I want to do is my healing. So I'm going to just double click. Next I want to do is my healing. Double click. And let's rename this to healing. And zoom in. So you can use there are different tools you can use in cleaning the blemishes from your model's face. You can use the healing brush, you can use the clone stamp, and you can use the patch tool. But I like using the patch tool and the clone stamp, because they work best for me. But the patch tool is actually my go-to guy, right? It's what I recommend for anybody, but again, use what works best for you actually. So I'm just going to clean the blemishes on the faces. I'm not going to take out all the hairs. Like I said, I like my I like my model looking as natural as possible, right? And again, our model again for today is Choma. Link to our Instagram will be on the description. Link to the makeup artist also will be on the description. If you want my Capture One lots and my Photoshop good lots, there's a link also on the description where you can get them. If you want the raw image, like the raw image of the raw image I'm using right now, there's a link also is in the description. You can go there and download and practice with. Like they say, practice makes better. Don't forget to like our page, drop a comment on the next video we should do, like, subscribe, tell a friend about us. Just encourage us basically. So basically what you're doing with your patch tool is you're selecting the part that is bad and replacing it with a much more smoother area. That's basically what you're doing with the patch tool. That's basically what you're doing with the healing tool, the clone stamp, and the patch tool. But I like the patch tool more. I like the way it works. And again, my personal preferences. So you can just clean, take your time. For the sake of our video, I'm not going to dwell much on this. So just take your time to clean as much blemishes on the face, but I'm always very careful not to take out any bird mark, except the client mentioned we should take them out. I actually don't take out bird marks. And also be careful not to pick the wrong part and replace it with another part. Like I said in the last class, shadows with shadows, highlight with highlight, mid-tones with mid-tones. Don't take a highlight part into a shadow part. For example, this is our shadow, this is our highlight. If I should take a part from here down here, it looks somehow, though it's not really visible, but it is obvious that you picked a part from a darker place. All right, I think this is good. So the next thing we want to do is our frequency separation. Again, link to where you can get my frequency separation. All the actions I use right here are on the description. There's a link that will take you to where you can download them. So let's use our frequency separation right now. 16-bit frequency separation. I'll make this at 6. Use my mixing brush. Make sure everything is turned on. Turn off my high frequency separation and let's just paint on our low frequency separation. to reduce the brush, you press the bracket key on your keyboard on both Mac and PC. So let's just keep mixing and mixing. Also, you need to be careful when mixing, right? Because you don't want to distort the face of the model. Mix the highlights together and mix the shadows together. Don't take the part from the shadows to the highlights. It's going to make your image distorted. And don't take the part from the highlights to the shadow. And don't mix too much so your client can still look real and not look like artificial. Right, so let's just touch the body. Shout out to everyone who watched the last video. Shout out to everyone who liked the last video. Shout out to the new subscribers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you want a video where I talk more about frequency separation, link is going to be somewhere on the screen, so you can just click it and it will take you right to the last video and the previous one where I talk about frequency separation. Also, you can drop a comment on the next video we should do. The next video I'll be talking on is how to create shortcuts on Photoshop. It's going to be a very short video, very short video. All right, so we are good. So this is our before and our after. Our before and our after. Right, before and after. Yeah, this is good. Before and after. Right, so I want to make some adjustments to this part right here using my phone stamp. Okay, I think this is good. All right. So this is good. This is good. All right, so we are done with our frequency separation. So the next thing we want to do is add our blue color, right? And I just reduce the opacity to, let's say, 80. All right, and let's add a bit of curve. So in the last tutorial I talked more about this. I just said not too much. Alright, and let's reduce this opacity to, I think, 50%. 50% is okay. And let's add our brightness. Let's make this 10. Alright, this is good. Alright, and we want to add our dodge and burning, so I'm just going to click on our dodge and burn. Remember I said burn is to add contour, so you're making the dark side of the image a bit darker, just enhancing the contour. I think my 5% flow is too much. Let me use 2%. Yeah, and yeah, this is good. This is better. So like I mentioned, right, you need to make your image look as realistic as possible. All right. And let's burn. Alright, let's reduce this to, let's say, 45, and let's reduce this to, let's say, 50. And that's what we have. Let's make this 50, and let's make this, let's say, 45. Again, you don't have to do it exactly the way I did it. You can do your own thing, but I'm just guiding you through, right? So I want to add a gradient map to, not a gradient map now, a gradient fill to my image to make the image blend with the background a bit. So I'm going to change my foreground color to red. I'm just going to pick a color from the background, right, and go to our gradient map and just draw. Yeah, I think this is good. And let's reduce the opacity to, I think, 15. Yeah, 15 is good. Now if you look at our image, you can see that our image, the red field affects both the skin of the model, the dress she's wearing, and her hair, right? And I don't want that. So what we're going to do now is mask the hair and the dress. Let's switch to black. Remember I said when maxing, white reveals, black hides. So let's just paint around the hair. Let's paint around the hair. Okay, this is good. And let's paint the dress also. All right. System down. I don't know, brother. All right, so let's just hide the hair. Okay, All right, so before and after, I think it's too much. Let's make it 10. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, this is good. So next thing we're going to do is add our gradient map. So let's go down to my adjustment layer over here, click on gradient map. I'm going to add this blue gold palette, gold skin palette. Right, I'm going to, the link to this gold skin palette is on the description. So we're going to change this to soft light, and let's reduce this. I think I like it at overlay, and let's reduce this to 10. Before, after, to add that gold feel. And I'm just going to replace the maxing because I don't want the gold to apply to the hair, just the skin alone. And I think it's even much. Before, after, let's just reduce this again. Or let me change this to soft light. Yeah, I think soft light works best. Before and after, yeah, this is good. I think let's make it about a 10. Yeah, this is perfect. And next thing we want to do is darken our background a bit because it's kind of struggling for attention with the model. So what I want to do is create a mask. So I'm going to go back to, let's say, my hairs and create a mask on Photoshop 2022, 2023 and 2024. It's much more easier. You just come to your properties over here and click on select subject, and Photoshop just selects the subject for you. You don't have to start using your pen to draw again from the beginning. But then again, you need to zoom in to make sure that sometimes Photoshop does not select it well, right? You just need to go back and zoom in and make sure every part is well selected. Right, and I think this is good. And let's just click our max layer over here. Yeah, and let's go back to our adjustment and reduce the opacity. Let's reduce the brightness to, I think, 25 is okay. And let's replace the max with this and inverse, Control or Command I to inverse, and voila, this is what we have. Let's increase it a bit. This is good. Right. From this to this. Yeah. I like what I see. I know you do too. So I think it's a bit too bright. Let's just reduce it a bit. Yeah, we're good. So next thing you can do is to add your watermark. Mine is www.saemedia.com.ng. Right, check us on Instagram, check us on Twitter, check us on Facebook, Say Studios. And let me make this all cap. Let's increase this to 500, and let's just reduce the size to 20. I think 18 is too big. Yeah, that's good. And let's just reduce the opacity to 65. Yeah, better. Now we want to save our image so we can take it to Instagram to post. We can take it to anywhere. We want to take it to Twitter to post, but I don't like exporting on Photoshop. I like taking it back to Capture One and do just a minor edit, then minor grading or edit, then take it before I export. So let's quickly do that. So let's save by holding Shift Command E. And what Photoshop does is it merge everything together, but still retains the original copy that came in. So everything is merged and it's saved. So let's press Ctrl S on our keyboard to save, and it's done saving. Once we open our Capture One, we can see here that our image is saved, right, from Capture One. So let's now, and any changes that is made on Photoshop will reflect on Capture One. For example, let me reduce this watermark a bit. I think it's just too in my face, so let's reduce this to 14. Yeah, that's good. So Control Z to undo, and Shift Control E to merge, and Control S to save. And let's go back. It's done saving, and let's go back, and you can see the adjustment has been made, and this is good. So now we are back to Capture One, where we will do our final grading, and we're going to export for Instagram and Facebook. So first thing I want to do is just a minor tweak, right? I'm going to increase my brightness a bit, right, and bring down my highlight a bit. Just minor tweak to this, and it does not have to be perfect. Again, it doesn't have to be exactly what I did. You can just play around it and come up with what works best for you, but I'm just guiding you through. I think I'm going to make this 25. Right, let's see what we have before, after. Okay, it's not much. I think let's increase our brightness a bit. I'm going to come down to my color, and I'm going to bring down my midtones a bit to add more shiny effect. I think that's too much. Yeah, this is just perfect. You can see that the skin is actually glowing. Yeah, this is good. And for my midtones, I think I would like to increase the brown colors a bit. Let's do this. Alright, just a bit. Go to my shadows. Let's add a little bit of teal. And highlights. Let's add a little bit of also. Yeah, I think it's too much now. Yeah, it's too much. So let's reduce this a bit. No, let's just reduce let's just bring down the saturation a bit. I think 4 is good. So let's see. After, this is what before, these are after. Then let's create a new layer. I'm going to name this grade 1. Right, so Capture One has some default style that it comes with. So when you right click on your layer, go to apply adjustment form, build in style, and you can just play around with anyone that works best for you. Let's see. Okay, I think I'm going to stick with spring and spring 2, right? I'm going to reduce the opacity to, let's do 15 so it's not too much. Alright, 15 is good. And I like adding vignettes to my image. Right, so I'm going to click on this add new layer and add an empty layer, and I'm just going to name this vignettes. Right, and let's come here to where our brush is, this icon here where our brush is. Click on it on this drop down arrow and click on draw radial gradient marks. So you draw your marks. You draw a perfect marks by holding shift and just draw marks around your model. So this is good, and just bring down the brightness of this a bit. 10 is okay. So let's increase this a bit. Alright. Okay. That is okay. So before and after. Before and after. So I still think we can just pump up our brightness a bit and just reduce the saturation a bit. Let's take up our midtones a bit, so it's not too much. Remember, if we come down too much, it's going to be too much, so let's just take it up a bit. Yeah, this is good. So let's see where we are. So from this to this, from this to this, right? And I also notice our hair is kind of affected. So what I can do is create a new layer, create a new empty layer, right? And I'm going to max just our hair. So let's click on our drawing, click M on your keyboard, increase the size of your brush, and let's just max this part. So M is to reveal the maxed area. Let's just draw. So I advise you take your time, right, to draw your marks, paint your marks very well, so it doesn't, overlap into your model. Right, let's reduce this a bit, reduce the size of our brush. Again, you can reduce and increase the size of your brush by pressing the arrow keyboard on your marks, on your by pressing the arrow keyboard on your Mac or PC. Again, you can reduce the size by pressing the bracket keyboard on your Mac or PC. So, like I mentioned the last time, using a Wacom tab makes life easy for you actually, right? But you can also achieve this using a mouse, but it's a bit difficult, right? But when you're using a Wacom tab or any tablet at all, it's very seamless. So let's just paint. Let's reduce this a bit and so like I mentioned earlier, take your time, right? I'm just doing rough work because I don't want you guys to be bored. So let's reduce. You can make, let's name this hair. Let's reduce the opacity a bit. Yeah, not too much. So you can see before, after. Yeah, so let's add a little black. Not too much again, you know, I want it to look natural. So we've gone from this to this, from this to this. All right, let me increase my saturation a bit. Yeah, it's too much. So from this to this. All right, and now let's export by clicking on this icon and export. So Capture One has different formats in which you can export. We have the full size highest quality JPEG, we have the Instagram optimized JPEG, we have the quick proof preview JPEG. I actually created this PNG full size high quality because PNG is actually more better size compared to JPEG. It retains the quality of the images compared to JPEG. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to click on our JPEG, optimize size, increase the size to, let's say, 80. And when you scroll down, let's make it 100. When you scroll down, you can see it shows you the estimated output size is going to be. So I think that works fine for me. And let's export. So over here, you choose where you want to export your image to, right? Let me export this to my hard drive. Yeah, and just click on export. Voila, and we're done exporting. And that's it, guys, we're done for today. Don't forget to subscribe to our channels, ask questions in the comment section, like our page, subscribe to our channel, and tell us what next you want us to work on, and we're going to do just that. Thank you very much. It was a wonderful time with you all.